Many people leave Christianity because of some questions that are hard to answer. I acknowledge this, but I also know that you've got much harder questions if you're an atheist.
Hey, I recognize that voice. Yeah, that's that deranged Zoomer guy. Oh, I'm sorry, I mean redeemed Zoomer. Yeah, that's the guy that is so smart that he answered literally every single atheist argument ever in just 9 minutes. Some might say that you would have to be an idiot to think that you can answer so many things that people have been discussing for many, many years and somehow be so sure that you have heard literally all of them in such a short time period. But don't worry, he used the Chad meme with himself as the Chad, so you know he's got to be right.
Hey guys, welcome back to Kingdom Craft, where I build this big church in Minecraft while I talk about Christianity.
So, some of you may have noticed that his audio just got a sudden and rather extreme boost in quality. That's because, using the power of I made the unlistenable mess into not that. Seriously, the click click clickety clack of his Vimeo James combined with the loud blarpy music was
where I build this big church in Minecraft.
Well, it was driving me mad, so it was mostly for me, but I think everyone benefits, so yeah.
And today I'm going to be talking about 3 questions that are perfectly easy for Christians to answer, but are almost impossible for atheists to answer.
See, he gets smarter every minute of his existence. I mean, he's got these impossible questions for atheists to answer. A thing that always, without exception, is definitely not 3 questions that are piss easy for atheists to answer and only an idiot would think otherwise. So, you know, fun.
Now, just some definitions real quick. I'm defining an atheist as someone who does not believe in God or any sort of supernatural, like human soul or something.
I mean, the first part is fine, but a human soul-like thing is something that could exist without the need for any kind of deity. And even the supernatural is not something exclusive to religiboys. It just means believing in things that potentially exist outside of our universe. But it's fine, since many atheists don't believe those things, and I am one of their very sexy number. It's whatever. Go ahead.
Now, I know atheists will say, oh, we're not claiming God doesn't exist, we're just saying we have a lack of belief. Sure, whatever. I'm not going to argue with them right now.
Oh, you nearly had me thinking, you know what, fair enough, that's an okay way to put it. But then you had to say, I'm not going to argue with them right now. As if you think you actually get to tell people how they disbelieve the God claims. That's not really something you get to say. That's like trying to argue me out of my favorite color. You see, you say it's crimson, but actually, I know it's blue, because that's my favorite color, and you're just pretending blue doesn't exist because you're prejudiced against me or some shit.
But I'm just defining an atheist as sort of a naturalist, someone who does not believe positively in the supernatural.
You see how there's a word that goes naturalist and there's this other word that goes atheist? Do you think that there might be a reason for that? Almost like these words don't have the same exact meaning. I mean, you could technically be a naturalist and still not be an atheist if you believe that natural things are higher beings. And we just don't know how they work and all that. You know, because like the sun is a real thing according to most people. And I hate that I know there are people out there who think that the sun is fake. It is the worst part of my job, knowing for sure that there are people out there stupider than me. Damn it. I'm never going to win that award.
The first question that they really can't answer is, why is human life worth more than an animal life?
Ha! What? I mean, apart from the usual that humans are definitionally animals, so it's like asking why are cars more valuable than vehicles, but I know what you really mean, and you are presuming that you know they are intrinsically more valuable, and that I agree to that statement, and neither of those things are true. I mean, I am so sick, I think cockroaches are superior to humans, but the fact is, in the grand scheme of things, in the universe as wide as it is, come the end of time, humans and every other animal on this planet will be gone, rendering the lot of them about as superior as anything else in this question, and your inevitable inferior justifications for it.
And also, what I'm doing in Minecraft is I'm going to make an enclosure to breed some animals, because I want to be humane here. This is a church after all.
Look, I know that that's completely irrelevant to the question, and I'm going to try and skip any pointless guff, but I thought it was too funny to ignore, because what churches have pigs? Really? Never mind. I can think of a few situations when pigs could actually be useful. Need to fill some seats? Pigs. Need to replace a pesky runaway bride or groom, or both? Pigs. Need to reveal the true face of God, but he just refuses to exist? Pigs. Hey, at least pigs are fucking real.
But yeah, so Christians do care about animals and animal life because, they should at least, because I think God cares about them. The Bible seems to say that.
If you consider the Bible to be more of a text on how to live, then it would make sense for it to contain shit about treating your animals decently enough, since not feeding your animals or, accidentally killing them and such makes them not exactly productive. So of course it would recommend that you don't do shit that will make it so that your animals aren't useful. And that applies to atheists. Whether you believe animals are worthy of care or not, it's in your best interest that they at least survive a certain length of time. Also, you would think if God was against things like factory farming, well, he might have brought it up. It's funny, it's almost like he didn't know those things were going to happen.
But we know that human life is superior to animal life. Human life was set apart in the Garden of Eden.
Oh, right, I forgot. This isn't even how do atheists justify animal welfare, which could actually be a decent question, but no, it's how do I know a thing that I feel is true, even though if you think about it, it really isn't. Unless book, though. I don't. Humans and other animals are the same. Humans just happened to luck into a cool niche where they can do all sorts of shit, most importantly whiskey. But if we train up a few chimps to make the whiskey, then they literally become worthless. And you know what? I'm working on it.
Regardless of how literally you take that story, the Bible is very clear that human life is set apart and superior in some sense to animal life. I believe animals have some kind of soul, but not a rational soul the way humans do. I think that was the view of Aristotle and Thomas Aquinas. I think that makes the most sense.
Well, again, and by your own definitions, atheists don't believe in any souls for any of them, so why would they think that humans are the superior? It's kind of hilarious that you hadn't even considered that they, wouldn't agree with you on all of the shit. Almost like they have different worldviews to you. Also, I would argue if there is a God, they don't give a shit about humans either. Otherwise, he wouldn't have put them in the literal middle of nowhere on a planet that they can barely live on under half of the stuff that isn't already covered in fucking water.
But yeah, because we believe in the human soul, we believe that humans are inherently superior to animals. But atheists who, generally speaking, do not believe in the human soul don't really have much of a logical case for saying that human life is worth more than animal life. Most atheists I know would still say that it's worse to kill a human than to kill a fly. But why?
You seem to be confusing a lot of concepts there with quote-unquote superiority. First off, you actually have to define what makes one thing superior to another. If survivability were the metric, then my joke about cockroaches just becomes true. If it's about intellect, arguably there's a few animals smarter than humans. Also, almost any given animal group favors their own by default over other species, since that's just a basic evolutionary advantage. Nothing to do with superior boys. And finally, that humans tend to have loved ones. They care for each other and want good things for each other. Feelings that they just don't have for flies. And thus it's generally considered a greater loss, even when it's someone we don't know, based on how we know how we would feel if someone close to us died. It's called basic fucking empathy and has literally nothing to do with superiority or book, though.
Now the first answer they'll give, the most obvious one, is, because humans are more intelligent.
Was literally not the first answer I gave. In fact, I didn't really give it at all, because humans are fucking morons. I mean, I don't think that there's any animal but humans that have fallen for a crypto scam. So maybe it's all of them are smarter than humans. I mean, you try selling a bored ape to a fly, and he'll tell you to buzz off. Thank you. I am very funny.
But there's problems with that. First of all, if intelligence is what determines the value of a life, then is a smart person's life worth more than a dumb person?
Well, as the world's smartest idiot, I am both more and less valuable than everyone else, since you can't subtract a negative from an That means I am the most important person ever. Figure that one out. Also, again, I don't think that superiority of humans is a thing. Do I think that they are worth keeping around? Again, just wait for the whiskey chimps and you will see what I do with them.
Like, I don't know, would Albert Einstein's life be worth more than, like, mine? I mean, actually, yeah, probably, because he did more for science. But, I don't know.
Oh, that's not fair. I think you've done way more for comedy on the Cirsic YouTube channel than he ever will. And that's the true meaning of Christmas. Anyway, bad point, poorly made. Next question, please.
Another question is, like, an adult pig has a higher intelligence, like a higher IQ than a newborn baby.
Eat the baby. I'm sorry, I didn't even let him finish the question, but whatever it is, the answer to any questions involving babies is to eat the baby. Like if your friend asks you what you think of their newborn crotch goblin, it would be rude not to eat an offered snack. In fact, I think it's the answer to most questions. Who do you think is the most influential musician of the Eat the Baby? In fact, I think it could really be the answer to all of life's problems. How do we solve the current economic and social Eat the Baby?
But obviously, killing a pig is legal and killing a newborn baby is not. And if they're going to say it's because of what the baby's going to turn into, then they should be pro-life, which they're usually not.
For God's non-existent sake, as if humans aren't largely technically programmed to not want to do that, because killing babies is a really shit way to continue the species. And if you're not killing babies over pigs because a book says humans are more valuable, and not because you value humans more than pigs, well, that sounds like more of a you problem than an atheist problem. Most of them don't seem to have any problem not doing fucked up shit without being told they aren't allowed to by some book, and yet you guys think they are the immoral ones. No, there's only one immoral one, and it's me. I own all the immorals, and that's what makes me better than you.
So their arguments really fail. They know.
It's always fun to hear what other people think, other people 100% say, and all their arguments are bad without, hearing any of them. It's so strangely common how many videos of you guys are just, you decide what I think and then argue against that. And yet I'll get shit for arguing against what a person actually said because it's low-hanging fruit. But there's nothing more low-hanging than fruit that doesn't even fucking exist sometimes.
Instinctively, and they're correct about this, that human life is worth more than an animal life. That's based on natural revelation that we can just figure that out.
Natural revelation? Christ. Do you really have to couch everything in your religy-woo words? It's called fucking instinct. None of that shit is revealed to someone. It's just a feeling about things being wrong. At least for most of us. And for the edge cases where they do need to be told, we have laws to stop people randomly replacing babies with pigs. Not that that wouldn't be absolutely hilarious. And honestly, a marked improvement for the looks of the species.
But they can't explain why. They really can't.
They really can. You probably just don't like the answer. But your opinion on, facts about reality don't actually affect how that reality works, Sosboss. Although that's even assuming that you have heard any answers from actual atheists. And to be frank, I don't think these guys ever do that. Why would they? They know everything they need to know about the Athey boys from people who don't like them. And as such, would have no reason to just make up shit about them. No.
And the best they can do is say that we just have loyalty to our own species, but that's not actually saying why it's wrong to kill a human. That's just saying why humans don't want to kill other humans.
For to's the mighty spider god's sake, where do you think the ideas of right and wrong come from? They aren't inherent to reality. Morality is not objective unless you can prove otherwise. It is based on those exact things. They are why people think things are wrong. Jesus, it's like you are trying to sound as stupid as possible. I'd almost be impressed if I wasn't so jealous.
And I don't even know if we can say there is an inherent interspecies loyalty, because you could say with evolution we have evolved to be loyal to like our own clan or tribe, but not to humanity as a whole. That's why humans have killed each other for all of history.
Well, there is actually. We call it civilization. It's a thing built by humans to enforce those ideas, because the humans who like that system will then survive in that system because, it's generally better. So now most of them agree with it, and those that didn't, especially in the early stages, were kicked out or ended up killed, and now the arsehole genes are much less common. Shonk.
It's like, yeah, they're loyal to their own clan, but not to the one that they're competing with. Definitely not. That's why humans have treated each other worse than like any animal species has treated each other.
I think if you gave animals tools and the ability to use them, they would probably do some similarly fucked up shit. And wait, the human special super souls that make them better than animals actually don't make them better than animals. Oh man, it's almost like you can't stop contradicting yourself. Gosh.
So that argument really fails.
Yes, your arguments do keep on failing. Perhaps you should think about that. Although, who am I kidding? Like you have the ability to think.
So they really can't explain why humans have any inherent worth at all. And that's why the most genocidal regimes in history were atheistic.
Look, I'm not going into this. You guys use it a lot like it's not a shit point, but let's take it like it's actually true and not reductionist gibberish. Just because some shit things are atheistic doesn't mean that all shit things are atheistic. Because the opposite is also true. Some of the most open, caring societies have been largely or even near entirely secular, because it was never about the lack of God that made people do those things, but the fucked up ideologies. And frankly speaking, many theistic regimes have been incredibly shitty, but some have been fine. So clearly you can't judge something by the contents of its God claims or lack thereof exclusively, and only a total fool would even try.
Because if there's no inherent, human value, no inherent human essence, so to speak, then human value is determined by how useful it is. And that's why, say, if you're Stalin and if you're a communist, then you think human life is only valuable if it contributes to the utopia you're trying to build, for example.
Well, that's the thing, though. Even if they aren't claiming inherent worth, that also doesn't mean that they're placing a value claim on them at all. You are saying they do that, but many atheistic worldviews don't. Again, these worldviews that don't value humans don't value humans, so they don't. Again, it's an issue with the worldview, and the fact that it's atheistic is basically irrelevant, especially when you consider some do the opposite.
So it's very dangerous to not boldly assert that human life has inherent worth. It's very dangerous. And the Enlightenment philosophers still believed in human rights, but
the Enlightenment is where human right ideals basically fucking come from, you absolute brain melt. Are you freaking kidding me? Not only does this motherfucker not understand the difference between atheism and a complete worldview, but he doesn't even know where the things he's talking about come from. Christ.
In the Enlightenment, people started to question the existence of God, and that laid the bedrock for denying human rights. Now,
moron. Anyway, he's going to go on a tangent about abortion and euthanasia, which frankly not all atheists support, one, both, or either, so it's kind of irrelevant. But the hilarious thing is, thinking that God is against abortion when that motherfucker loves killing babies more than I like eating them. So yeah, last question please.
All right, so the next question that atheists really can't answer.
Better be a good one, or I'm gonna be mad. And by mad, I mean drunk. And by better be, doesn't matter, I'm already drunk, I just want the excuse.
Is why should humans care about the environment?
What a staggeringly stupid question. Why should the people on the thing that they need to survive care about its ability to allow them to survive? I don't know. Maybe because a book told them they can do whatever the fuck they want with it. No, wait, that's what many theists literally believe. That's why they think that humans can't affect the environment, even though they so obviously can and have done. And I'm not saying that's what you're saying, but those people are fucking morons, and they agree with you on a lot of things.
Now, atheists are often very environmentalist. I think in America, at least, atheists are much more likely than Christians to be talking about climate change. And I'm not here to say climate change isn't real. I don't think it's going to destroy the world. I think it's going to have bad impacts that is going to make life harder for people. And if we're Christians, we should care about that.
You know what? I'm giving him that. The least idiotic thing he said all video. Although, while you are right, they probably won't destroy the world. Making it unlivable will certainly clear up that whole human infestation we've been having. So they really should keep it up.
But I think in a Christian worldview, it's a lot more consistent to care about the environment than an atheist one. Because if atheists believe we're just like other animals, like ontologically, then what humans destroying the environment is just natural.
You said it yourself. Humans want at least their local human tribe to survive. What happens if the rivers dry up and all the trees fucking die, the oceans turn to toxic sludge and there's no animals left? I'll give you a hint. The humans all fucking die. It's almost like the human atheists might not want that. I wonder why.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the